sitting in first class next to a guy who had a $2,500 suit on. It was the nicest suit I've ever seen in my life. I could see my face in it. I was fixing my hair. I mean, the thing was waterproof, for goodness sake. It was a sweet suit. And I looked at him and we started talking. I said, that's the nicest suit. And you can imagine me sitting in first class. I had my sweats on. That's a nice suit right there, buddy. How you doing? I said, what do you do for a living? He says, I work for the Defense Department. I went, you do what? You work for the Defense Department with that suit on? You must be at a level where you're not allowed to tell me what level you're at. What level are you? He said, you can't ask that. I said, okay. You could probably kill me with your pinky. And we started talking and laughing. I was talking about different things that are going on around the world and stuff. Then he breaks in with the question that I wanted him to ask the whole time. He says, well, what do you do? I said, I'm an evangelist. I go around the country telling people about Jesus, how they can be forgiven of their sins. And I got that little gospel thing in there real quick. He says, my best friend's born again. Guess what I said? I said, why aren't you? Isn't that what he wanted me to ask? He said, no one can answer my questions. I said, hey, we've got an hour-and-a-half flight from Atlanta to New Orleans. Why not? Just go ahead and shoot and fire away. And he starts asking me these questions about uranium dating and the argon phosphorus techniques and carbon-14. And I studied every one of these questions. The Lord had given me favor to have been able to answer quickly, every one of them. Then I took him through what I'm getting ready to show you. I call it the circle of reason. I took him through this concept of proving the existence of God, proving, well, here's how I'll do it. I'll draw it on the board here so you can keep notes here and keep track of what I'm saying here. What I start with is I start with God at the top. I start with God. Then I do at 6 o'clock, I put the name Jesus. No, that's at 3 o'clock, sorry, 6 o'clock is. Listen, if it wasn't for football, I never would have played. Y'all leave me alone, shut your faces, that's horrible. You see how quick you responded to that? That was horrible. I thank the Lord for the Holy Spirit. Okay, so watch this now. So at a o'clock, put the word miracle. And then at 9 o'clock, the word Bible. Then I draw an arrow from each of these to each of these. Bam, like that. Like a clock around the circle. Arrows like that. Then I draw an arrow across. Circle from Bible to Jesus, from God to miracle. Draw arrows like that. And I call it the circle of reason. Now, I thought I got it from a guy named R.C. Sproul in seminary at Columbia International University in my apologetics class. But I looked over my material and called the professor, and it wasn't R.C. Sproul. We could not figure out who came up with this. I didn't come up with this, so don't think, oh, that's impressive. I played football. So watch this now. But this is one of the most impressive ways for me to share with people. The Lord has given me favor to have led a lot of atheists and agnostics and skeptics to the Lord by using this one little diagram. This diagram is powerful because once you break into it, you're in. And all of them prove each other, which is pretty impressive. Now notice where Bible is. I never start with Bible. Bible's at 9 o'clock. I end with Bible. It's very difficult to prove to a skeptic that the Bible's true. Very difficult. Now I'm going to show you some techniques on how to do that. It's not impossible, but the best way to start, the best place to start is to start with the existence of God.